Here we go again, another walk and talk with Dave. Now we are the first week of September. Now we are going to be having the interest rate hike. Now what is that going to happen? Now the Bank of Canada is going to make their ruling this year. Hey, you get to see all my sunscreen. I'm being diligent. The Bank of Canada is talking about raising the rates this week. Now, what do you think it's going to be? The banks have been saying for months 0.75, 1, 1.25, but you also hear about the US talking about their rate coming up in a few weeks. So always remember the US is the dominant power, so the US goes first and Canada is going to come later, 6 weeks later. So the rate hike that will be coming this week, and we're going to see what it will be, is all based on what happened the last time the US did this, okay, 6 weeks ago. So just keep that in mind. We have a high 92% of the time we follow what the US do. So you got to figure out, is that something that you're prepared for? So people still ask me, I get messages every day about, well, what does that mean about me? Here we are, this is the water. This is where all of those boats used to go. You know, your little paddle boats that you can pedal around. This WestJet Theater. So, you know, how is it going to affect you? So the rule is always 1% interest rate hike lowers the price of your home by 10%. So that happens almost immediately. Now, there is some stragglers, yes, because people can go and get their rate, and their rate is guaranteed for 90 days or whatever it's going to be. Depends on the bank. So you can have your rate locked in. So there's some people that can take advantage, but listen, the majority of the time it hits right away. It's not going to change. So you got to be prepared. Housing prices will continue to go down. Wow, and look at this. That's the Kajama ship. You can take a trip on that out to the island there for like 12 bucks. But you got to be careful. Oh, you hear? There's a lot of people that are crying. There's going to be a lot more people crying about the economy, let me tell you. So, you know, I'm old enough to remember the last time we went through this, which was 14 years ago, unhealthy. We should have a recession every 5 to 7 years, but this time we had it 14 years or something like that. So it's way, way, way overdue, way too much money in the system. So I did not think that they would be raising rates as aggressively as they did, because there's consequences to that. But you have to make this terrible decision. They have to either wreck the economy by raising interest rates, or leave the interest rates low and wreck the economy through inflation. Imagine the cost of everything going up 25% a year every year, and it just can't last long. If people's salaries are not adjusting, then what are you going to do? People will be all homeless. So the question is, like, how do you want to destroy the economy? Now, no government's ever going to run on that platform. And in reality, it's not fun what has to happen next, right? So the economy's going to continue to tank. Just be prepared for that, everybody. Now, how can you protect yourself, right? That's where you got to be in entry-level homes. So if you can be in a home that's a small townhouse, a condo, something like that, a small unit, entry-level living homes, that's where you got to be investing your money right now. If you're in a large home, you got to think about leaving it. Now, it's kind of funny. The historical thing that we always buy into is gold and silver. I know that nowadays people are saying Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has crashed, you know, way over 50%. But gold and silver has dropped this year. But remember, gold and silver back in 2008, when the economy was dropping, gold and silver dropped like 30%, something like that. And then what happened? Gold doubled in price, and silver went up 5x in price. So massive differences, right? So something like that is going to happen again now. It's going to happen. That gold and silver is going to skyrocket. Now, Bitcoin, I don't know where it's going to be next week, next month. I don't know. Wish I had a crystal ball. It's $1 trillion question, but I'm quite confident it's going to be quite high a decade from now when all this is sorted. So that is what I'm banking on. So when you go into your programs, make sure that you are settling them and pushing them, so you're just putting in a little bit. I don't care if it's $10 a month. Just put something into the account. Like I always say, buy a little bit of gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, In addition, make sure that you have your emergency fund, opportunity fund, and start preparing, getting things ready for your family. There's going to be rough times ahead, but the rough times create incredible opportunities. In 2008, we were looking at some homes in Boca Raton, and they were like $250,000 homes at the time back then, and they had been like $2 million to start. So prices had just like collapsed. My parents, who were in Tampa, they had $300,000 homes for 30 grand. So it really depends, right, where you are. There's going to be areas that make money, areas that don't make money. So try to be in areas that don't lose. We do consulting and we do advising for people all over North America. And so I end up getting to talk to a lot of different people in a lot of different places in their lives. It's very interesting where they come to, and I got to tell you that the best people are always investing somewhere in real estate. And so now as prices are collapsing, could be an opportunity. I think there's going to be more opportunities. So the best advice we can get is remember that foreigners, so somebody that does not live in your city, somebody who doesn't live in your city, they're only looking at the deal. But one of the biggest mistakes we have as humans is we always expect what happened to continue to happen. What do I mean by that? It's like if you say, well, home prices went up 10% per year for 5 years. You're going to say, well, I expect them to keep going up 10% a year every year. So it's just because it happened doesn't mean it's going to happen again. Does it mean that if your kid behaved well for one day, does it mean that he's going to behave well tomorrow? Any of you parents would know, like, that doesn't mean jack. So, we don't look backwards. We look at other numbers. So we look at demographics and incomes and birth rates in areas and what are the main industries and stuff like that. So do your due diligence, do your homework, because this is going to save you a lot of money as we go through this. For those of you that are already in large homes, and those are the homes in around the Greater Toronto area, it would be like Mississauga, Vaughan, anywhere in the inner suburbs, they're really going to get smacked down. A lot of the cottage country, they're going to lose a lot. Remember, in a recession, they could lose 75% of their value. So if you are in those homes and the homes have already dropped a massive amount and you're like freaking out, remember, we are still today, even after all of this chaos, we are still at the prices that was in 2021. In August 2021, it's the same prices August of 2022. So, it's not down that much historically. So if you did buy within the last 12 months, yes, it's gone down. But you could still sell at top prices. It's not too late. You still have time. So that's where you start diversifying into all your opportunity fund and emergency fund and everything else like that. We have been spending a long time, many months, creating a course, but we'll hopefully have something for you by the end of the year. It's tough times, man, and I feel for people. So we're getting a lot of people calling us, with a lot of fear, and I don't blame them. Like, everybody's fearful about what's going to happen. But only the very select few group of people are fearful. A lot of people walk around like ostriches where they just stick their head in the sand and like they're going to hope that things get better. And one thing that we hear a lot of is people that say, I got 3 months left, I got 5 months left. How many months of savings do they have left to continue with this? And remember that the banks are going to be changing a lot. They're going to be changing how they do things because the banks know that their rates are going up. So we're going to hit this thing called trigger rates. So when your entire payment just goes toward interest, that's illegal. We can't do that. We don't do that in Canada. They do it in the States, but they don't do it in Canada where you can have interest-only loans. I mean, they don't do it in the States anymore, but they used to. So that is going to hit everybody where the interest rates go way higher. They're willing to lend on 80% of your home when you invest, 95% of your home when it's your own home. They're only willing to do that if the cost of living is stable. But if food prices and gas prices and daycare prices and everything else are to the moon, they cannot lend you 80% anymore. So that's what we're also seeing is banks are reducing how much they're willing to lend you from 80% of your home down to 70, maybe even 60. Commercial has been 60% forever. So the commercial guys are used to this, right? But residential people are not prepared. And they're like, I got a few months left, but a few months is not going to do it this time. So not to be fear-mongering, we just have to be aware. There are things going to happen, but there's things that you can do. And there's going to be ways out of it and huge opportunities. So be prepared. Don't be scared about what's going to happen. And just study history. Read your books. Know what you have to do, because the answers are out there. That's why I'm always stressing financial education is so important. So get into things that don't lose money. And maybe even not losing money, but making money. Make sure you're keeping up to date with all this stuff, you guys, because it's so much is happening, man. It's like fireworks. If you guys like this stuff, please let me know. Please leave a comment below. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, and all the fun stuff. I really appreciate it. Trying to grow the channel, trying to get our word out there, okay? So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for coming by.